All right. So, welcome to today's session, and we will be picking up from where we left last time, where we were learning about pivot tables. Today, we'll delve more into pivot tables, a thing or two that we were not able to tackle last time. Based on our previous class, we learned about how to create a pivot table, how to group by items, and also how to group by dates or time. And we also learned about the timeline feature that is in within the pivot table. And we also said that with the timeline, similar to what we can do on the table, we can also have a slicer that is able to filter our pivot table. So just to draw that, I'd like us to click on the pivot table analyze, insert slicer. So you can choose any. Let's choose a location. Then I think that's it. Let's just choose a location. Okay. So with that, we're able to pick out, filter our pivot table using the slicer. So Enoch, you can click on Sandy. So Sandy, we see we only had two regions, two classes, that is the cycle and kickboxing. All right. Then maybe pick out two, press Control and choose South Jordan and Sandy. Control and yeah. So with Sandy and South Jordan, we have five classes, and that is it. So you can be able to filter the pivot table using the slicer when it comes to item, and when it comes to time, you can use the timeline feature. All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So you can clear the filter, then we move on to something else. Right. So there's another thing, when you're under the pivot table analyze, okay. I've just remembered we also talked about refresh, and I gave you an example of how to refresh and everything. I want us to look at what we call fields, items, and sets. Okay, so we look at what we call an calculated field and a calculated item. All right, so just before we go on, let me do something. So remember, we said that our labels on our data set become fields in the pivot table. Okay, they become fields. Like right now, we have class, instructor, fee, location 2, etc. All right. So when we want to come up with a new field based on the already existing fields, it is what we will call a calculated field. All right. So a calculated field is a field that has come up from existing fields. For example, let's say any class that has a fee above $200 is taxed at 15%. All right. So how do we go about it? So we already have the fees here. Aerobics, we see it got to 30. Zumba, we see it had 264. So we want to know what's the tax for each field, okay, for each class based on the already existing classes that are there. So how do we go about it? Click on calculated field. Then you have this insert calculated field item, and the dialog box has a name, then a formula if there is need for one, then the fields are here. Okay. So for our name, we want to call our field tax. So rename from field 1 to tax. All right. Then the formula is 15% of the sum of fee. So 0 point, okay, is equals to 0.15 multiplied by then fee. You can either double click fee or just click fee and click on the insert. Yes. Then click add. Then click OK. Okay. So we've come up with a field that is not existing in our data that has been brought up by already existing fields. Okay. So that is how we're able to come up with a calculated field. Right? So you can use any fields that are there, any calculations you want to come up with, you can use them and you're able to get any answers, the answers that you need. Okay. So I want us to talk about something else. Oh, there's what we call a calculated item. So for a calculated item, for our case, a calculated item will come from the already existing items that are in our pivot table. What are the items? They are these ones. Class, like under the classes, we have aerobics, we have cardio, we have all of these. These are items within our pivot table. Okay, so let's say we want to come up with a new class. We want to come up with a new class that is that has a mix of both, has a mix of both, or one or two or three items that are already existing in our class. So what can we call this? This is cocktail class. We can just call it cocktail. Okay. So click on. So first of all, your active cursor must be on the items. Okay. Just as it is right now. Then go to fields. Then you have the calculated item. Yes. So it's giving you that problem because we had grouped something. Okay. So I want you to do this. I want you to do this. Remove the class and click on location. Remove the class from this side. You can remove this class from this side or from here or uncheck this one. Okay, then choose location. Choose location. Then under highlight all of them, those four classes, then right click and choose and group. Then come into this side and confirm if there's no location to. Scroll down, it's not there, right? Okay, so now choose class and select location and choose class. Okay, so we want to have a new class. This class, we have dubbed it cocktail. So someone maybe goes to cardio, then goes to kickboxing, then has a bit of PO. Okay. So if I was going to the gym, I would know which exercise is good for what. But now I don't know. Okay. So click on any item there, any item. Then once you're there, go to field items and sets, then calculated item. Why is it doing that? We've already ungrouped. Do you have anything else grouped? Okay. All right. Click OK. I think we've grouped everything. Click on ungroup. Just click on ungroup on top here. There's also this option. Try again. No, no. Click on field items and sets. Okay. Come to here to refresh. Refresh all. Okay. Why is it doing that? Okay. Try again. I see the error because I thought we already ungrouped everything. I want to see that error message, that alert message. Just a moment. We've done that. We've done that. We've done that. Okay. Click on date and select, then select class, then select date. Come to this section, to the yes dates, then right click and group, then unselect on this other side, and select date. Then choose class, then click on the items, then click on fields, items, and sets. Finally. So we want to come up with a class based on the already existing class and from the pivot table. Let's call this class cocktail class. Can just call it cocktail class. Then from this cocktail class, we'll have 10% of aerobics, 10% of the sum of aerobics and Zumba and yoga multiplied by open bracket. So click on aerobics. Click on aerobics on this side. Yes. Okay. Plus, plus what? Zumba plus yoga. Then close the bracket. Then click add. Then click OK. All right. So we have this new class that the sum of phi is 72.4 and the tax is 10.86. Okay. So we've learned we can come up with a new field based on the fields that already exist. And also we can come up with a new item based on pre-existing items. All right. Okay. So that is it. That is it. That is it. That is it. All right. Let's go to something else. So under the pivot table analyze, we have what we call the pivot chart or pivot chart. Okay. So the pivot chart, using this version that he has, is under the pivot table analyze. For newer versions, you'll find it under insert. So click on pivot chart. Okay. So with the pivot chart, a chart is a representation of what the numbers are saying. It is a visual representation of data. So with the chart, you're able to tell if there's a growth, if there's a decline, and how each item in your data set is performing against another. Okay. So once we clicked on pivot chart, we have recommendations. The first recommendation is a clustered column. A clustered column. That is what Excel has seen that this would probably do you good. But it is not set on stone. You can still decide, no, I don't want this. I want something else. Okay? You could even decide, no, I want a bar chart. We'll talk about bar chart in our subsequent, about charts in our subsequent classes. But with the pivot chart, you're able to do a lot different from just normal charts. Okay? So click on bar chart. Yeah, so we have that. Okay, so a bar chart is simply um, a horizontal column chart. There's no difference with what we were having. The only difference right now is now you are able to succinctly see the names of the different classes without having to twist your eye or something. So bar charts are very good, especially when you have uh, text as labels that are very long. Okay, so you can click, you can go back to column chart. All right, so we can go with that one for now. Click on it, then click OK. All right. So with this bar chart, with this column chart, you're able to filter. When he clicks on that, we can filter. Maybe we just want to see how PO, yoga, and cardio strength are doing. So you can you have the filters that we talked about last week, label filters, value filters. Now for our case, I want us to unselect all by selecting all. Then choose 4 classes of your own choosing, of your preference. Yes. Okay. So that is based on this data, we can already tell that kickboxing is the one that is earning us more compared to the rest. That's why the bar, okay, or this column is bigger than the rest that are here. Okay, so we'll talk about styling, all these other things in our other session. Now you can click on you can remove those filters. You can remove those filters. You can remove the filter. Okay. Remove the filters by selecting all, then select all and click OK. Select all, then click OK. Awesome. 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 Mm, expand this chart. Come here to this section. This chart. Go to is it called the vertices or the borders? Then you'll see your cursor change. After it is changed, you're able to expand this. You see these white lines? No, 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 not the pivot chart. This, not the pivot table, this chart. I want you to move to the right. Yeah. Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. I think now it looks better. It looks a bit better. Okay. So we'll have a deeper discussion on charts and data visualization later on. All right. So with this, you can use a timeline. You can still also use a slicer, and the slicer will filter this data that is on our chart. Okay. Since all of them are coming from the same source, this one, sorry, they are coming from the pivot table. When you filter using one, it will filter the rest. Okay. All right. Awesome. So for our screenshot for today, I want you to do this. Okay. So what I will be looking at in our screenshot, I will be looking at some of tags. I will also be looking at the cocktail class. Okay. For the cocktail class, you can give it your own name. Can give it your own name, but there must be an extra class. In fact, let the new class have your name. So if it was Enoch, it would be Enoch class. If it is Yusra, it will be Yusra class, etc. Okay. So that's the screenshot for our day. Any questions so far? None? If there is none, I can continue. Let me clear this. All right. So we look at okay, we look at something else. Go to pivot table, design, the design tab, this one. So for the pivot table design, one, we have the subtotals here. Okay. You want to delete your table? You can move your table. Click on the table. Click on the table. I go to format, go to design here, design. Go to design. So as I've said, for our screenshot, I look at some cocktail class and the pivot chart. Click on move chart. There's move chart here on the top. Are you able to see it? I don't know if you're able to see it. Yes, to new sheet. Click on new sheet. Then I click OK. Yes, now go back to your data. It's sheet 3 or sheet 4? It's sheet 4. Excel has a preference for the left. Okay. All right. So under the design tab, in we have subtotals on the very end and under the layout group. Under the layout group, what I want you to do is I want you to first of all check for location. Check for location. First, check for location. Then bring location above class under this nesting. You remember when you're talking about nesting? Yes. Awesome. Okay. Now we are now in a position to see the subtotals. So if you notice, for our data, we have what we call the subtotals on top. Okay, like for Draper, we already see the subtotal for Draper is 607 and a fee, then 91.05 for tax. Okay, Sandy, Southern, and Sugar House, you can see the subtotals are on top. All right, but probably that may not be what you are pro. Okay, that's not what you want. So when you come to subtotals here, then you have the option of do not show subtotals. Click on it. So the subtotals are missing. Then you come back to the same place. You have the option of either at the bottom or on top. So you can choose bottom or on top. Okay, so it depends with you which one suits you. So one can have them at the top, one can have them at the bottom. Then we have the grand totals. The grand total, scroll down a bit, Enoch. So the grand total is there. So someone has to go down to see the grand total. But that may not be the case. Maybe you want from the onset, someone is able to tell this was the grand total for Sam, this was the grand total for tax. So how do you go about it? You have off for rows and columns, on for rows and column, on for rows only, and on for columns. Okay, so something said I gave you an explanation for subtotals on grand totals. So you have the columns and the rows. Okay, so click on off for rows and columns. You'll see the totals. On the grand total, click on off for rows and columns. Yes. So the grand total is a miss. It's not there. You cannot see it. Okay. Then you can click, go back to the same place. On for rows and totals. You already have one, the columns only. So click on for rows and columns. Okay, those are the columns. See what if you had other subtotals in between, you'd see for rows. Okay, then I think now you can tell what the on for rows would do and what the on for columns would do. Okay, all right, then you have the report layout. For the report layout, there are a number of layouts that are there in your report. Remember, we said this is the report, this is the fields area, this is the pivot table areas. Okay, so for our case, I want you to click on the table layout, report layout. So we have in compact form. I want you to click on compact form. Okay. On compact form, that is how now it looks. Scroll up so that we can know, we can see everything. Okay. So that is the compact form. Compact means my English is failing me. They are so together a lot. Okay. And probably that may not be the case that you want. Remember, design is after you've done everything. This is for aesthetics, okay? Already the data is here, so you just want it to look good. Go back to report and layout. Show in outline. Okay, so someone can easily tell here is the location, here is a class, fee, etc. Okay, some people prefer this, right? Uh, Now let's go to the other report layout, tabular. Okay, so you see how that data is. Okay, so we have the Draper and the Draper total, Sandy and the Sandy total, South Jordan and the South Jordan total. Okay, then the other format. You have that. Okay, okay, so you have all those. So this is the tabular format that we've chosen. Okay. So you can choose others based on what you want, based on what you feel is good. Enoch, if there's one that you prefer better than this, you can choose it as we go on. We're already on the tabular form. Yeah. So Enoch has gone with that option. Okay. So much is not different when you're looking at pivot styles options. So we have row headers, banded rows, columns, and headers. So for row headers, if you want to check uncheck them, you can uncheck them and see what happens. Uncheck row headers. Okay. Check them. Check row headers. Uh, yeah. Then column headers, that is class, sum, and fee. Uncheck, then recheck. Then the banded rows, we had seen it. So you can see how it, first of all, choose a style, then you can choose the banding. So we have a gallery of styles that you can choose from. So he has chosen blue. Have you chosen blue or am I seeing something very different? Uh-huh. Yeah, so The banding that is one column or band like having a color for each column. Okay, that is it. That is it. All right. All right. Any question? Okay. So I want us to look at something else. We will look at value field settings. Value field settings. Just recall that we never did that. Click on pivot table. So the value field settings option is found in three places. Here under active field, okay? It is also found when you click on this. Yeah, Then the other option is when you right click, when you're on the pivot table report, right click, it is still there, okay? So that is it. So for the value field settings, let's say you are interested not on the sum as as an aggregation, but you're rather interested on an average. Okay, so how do you go about it? Click on value field settings anywhere. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you have all these options. You have all these options that are available to you. You have sum, count, average, max, mean, product. And the list goes on. So they are all under summarize by. Remember we said the pivot table is used to summarize, calculate, and manipulate data. Large sets of data are able to be chunked out to small details, okay, for your analysis. For this case, I want you to choose average. You want to say average fee for each class, okay? Then under average, once you've clicked on average, I want you to click on number format. So under the number format, we've been here. Okay. So the difference with this is that we will be formatting only the details that are here, not the cells. If we were to go to the home option and click on number format, we would be formatting the cells that is from C1 to C22 or C33. But for this case, these are the items that are involved in your pivot table, the specific items. Okay. So for our case, I want us to choose accounting. I always prefer accounting because it looks good on your work. Then reduce the decimal places to zero. Then click OK. Then click OK. All right. So it's not working because we have calculated items. That's good. Let's do this. Click on our data, any place within our data, then go to fields, items, and sets. Fields, items, and sets. Then click on calculated item. Then scroll down to tax. Then click delete. Have you deleted it? Just a moment. Just a moment. Do this. Uh, Here on top, delete the change it to tax. The name to tax. Yes, then click delete. Have you deleted? Then do the same for the class that we came up with, the cocktail class. Remember, the class that is a field. You're looking for a field. You're supposed to be looking for an item. So click cancel. Click cancel. Then you have to be there. Yes. Then come. Yeah, that's okay. Delete. Now change it from sum of fee to average. Or do this, choose another. Choose fee, bring it to this area, to the values area. Okay. Choose fee from the fields. From the fields. Go to fee, drag it to the values area. Drag it to the values area. Then change it to one of them, change it to average. Yes, click on uh, uh-huh. Click on value field settings. Then under summarize by, change it to average. Change it to average. Choose average. Yeah. Then number format, we said number format should be accounting. So go back, then click on number format. Don't, here, on in the area side. Yeah, then field settings, number format, change it to accounting, then 0 decimal point. All right. So that is it. That is it. That is it. Now, last time we learned about how we able to rename this. So for fee, you can rename it to total fee, average fee, etc. So you rename from the formula bar, or when you're changing it under the value field settings. So average fee, just change it to average fee without off fee. Yes, then sum of fee, there's total fee. Okay. Okay. So always make sure your labels are user friendly. Okay. Someone can know exactly what is happening. All right. Okay. So we've seen we can use the same field, but have different, what we call, have different, the word is failing me, have different summaries. Like we've used the fee, and we have it on column C, we have the average. On column D, we have the sum of fee. Okay. So you can use a similar fee to do to show all these summaries. I want you to remove the location from this side. Click on location, then drag it to either side. Either click on remove field or drag it to this area. Okay. Then I want you to do this. Bring the fee and this fee again to the values section. Yes. The new fee, I want it to be, drag it to be the bottom so that it will be the last one. Not that one. The new sum of fee. Move up, just move up a bit. Yes. Drag it for it to become at the bottom of that nesting. Yes. Yeah. So we have another thing which is called show values as. Show values as. If you were to be asked, what's the percentage in terms of fee from each area? What percentage did they contribute? The aerobics, the cardio strength against the grand total. How do you do that? So click on the drop down arrow next to the name sum of fee. Then click on value field settings. Then click on show values as. Then instead of no calculation, we have a number of options that are there. The good thing about them, they're just English, okay? There's nothing so big, okay? So for our case, we want to compare a percentage of grand total. So click on grand total, percentage of grand total. Then click on okay. Okay. So that is it. So we can right now very well say you can use sorting. Sort for that percentage. Sort. Click on any cell, right click, then sort. Largest to smallest. Okay. So we see that the highest contributor was Pilates, while the lowest contributor was aerobics. Then change the name of that column to percentage. Percentage contribution or percentage, just percentage. Let's have it as percentage. Okay. Then you can change that number format to zero decimal point. So you can only see 13%, 10%, etc. How do you do that? Okay. Remember where we're getting the number format. Remember where we are getting the number format. Where are we getting the number format? So you are on percentage, number format, percentage, then reduce it to 0. Then click OK. Yes. Okay. So remember we said formatting does not change the content. We see we are on D4, but on our formula bar, we still have 13.115. Okay, so formatting is just a maker. All right. All right. Any question? We're good? Awesome. Looking forward to our next session where we'll be learning about charts.